Hello everyone, Elite Trainer CJ here, and today we are doing another Be the Elite podcast. Probably won't be for too long, probably about an hour, I want to say, just because I have work the next day, but I really wanted to do a podcast, so we're going to be playing NBA 2K19 while talking about Avengers Endgame. So let's go ahead and let's start talking about it. Shut up. No, I'm trying to talk right here. Alright, so, of course, Avengers Endgame is the quote-unquote last of the... Actually, give me a sec, I'm going to change the settings. Wait. Um... Yeah, that is too loud. Alright, so, okay, like I was saying, Avengers Endgame is it's the end of the Infinity Saga. Well, I guess there's still Spider-Man Endgame, but I don't think it has anything to do with the Infinity Stones. So we are gonna go ahead and say it's the end of the Infinity Stone saga, and Endgame was just so good. Really, what made it so good is that there was so much things. Okay, but okay. So there's a lot of things that I didn't expect to happen, even though that I kind of figured a couple things would happen. But okay, I just restart from the beginning. Hawkeye is shooting the teaching his daughter how to shoot the arrow, and then calls her Hawkeye, which is actually the very first time that they actually said the name Hawkeye in a Marvel movie. So nobody no like he was known as Clint. He wasn't known as Hawkeye. He was known as Clint. That like even in um, Captain America: Civil War, he told Black Panther, "Hi, I'm Clint," and then Black Panther of course goes, "I don't care." But okay, so his family disappears, and then uh, they the Avengers go like, "Hey, there we go." Okay, but the Avengers are like, "Okay, so Thanos has the stones. What are we gonna do?" And then Rocket points out that uh, there's been gamma radiation gamma rays that show that the stones have been used, and so they get a team together. They get and they get a team together. Well, they already have their team together, and they go and they go to Thanos, and so they get there, and well, Thanos Thanos gets his head chopped off by Thor. But before that happens, he's like, "Oh, I destroyed the stones with the stones," but technically you can't destroy the stones. So they're condensed to atoms, apparently, told by the Russo brothers when they had an interview. So that happened. All right. But yes. So Thor chops off his head, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then he's like, "Well, I went for the head." But then he gets all depressed. But I'm not gonna get to that point yet. All right, so with that, it goes. They're like, "What are we gonna do now?" Since the stones are gone, and so they go. Well, it's five. It goes 5 years into the future, so 2023. And uh, so block. All right, so go 5 years into the future, 2023, and we we see that the Avengers are still trying to cope with what's going on. Oh yeah, Iron Man, Iron Man and Nebula before they went to Thanos. I feared that supposedly that oxygen was supposed to go out in the morning, and then Captain Marvel saved them while Tony fell asleep. A friend of mine actually thinks that this is like Endgame was all a dream by Tony, and that Tony actually died on the ship. But I'm like, I don't see that being right at all. But I guess it could happen. But Iron Man sees Captain America, and he's like, "We were supposed to lose together. Where the hell were you?" I'm sorry, language, but that's what he said. He's like, "Where the heck were you?" There we go, another assist. All right, so he's like, he goes crazy. So he's like all skinny and stuff from being on the ship for, I think they said it was like 21 days since he was stranded on Titan after everybody disappeared except for him and Nebula. And so he's skinny. He looks like he's a meth addict. I just he was starving basically. I take it that they had food, but they didn't have that much food, so they ate little by little. Because, like, yeah. Because he was just super skinny. But, okay, so Tony's like, I'm not gonna be there when they go after Thanos, because he's in the hospital trying to recoup, but he's not on good terms with Captain America for most of the movie. But for the first half, like okay, yeah, the what's it called? The first scene. Well, not first scene, but first act. First act. I'm sorry. So the first act. I'm trying to get better at the podcast. Don't worry. But we would get there. I don't have anybody to talk to, so I'm kind of just talking to myself. But all right. So with that, I'll remind you that I've only watched the movie once. I need to go see it again just to refresh everything. So I might be a little off of what I'm talking about, but I have watched a lot of like, things that you missed from Endgame and Easter eggs and all that. But so it's 5 years in the future, and Ant-Man is still trapped in the quantum realm, but a rat comes and saves him because it somehow hits all the levers that it's supposed to hit to return him just by coincidence. So without this rat, none of this movie would have happened. So really, the real hero of this movie is the rat. The end. But anyways, with that, Ant-Man goes and finds the Avengers, and he's like, "Hey, you remember me? 5 years ago, I was at the Germany airport with you. I turned really big and fought with Captain America." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Like, is that a recording or?" And he's like, "No, that's live." And so he explains that yes, it's been 5 years. Actually, he uh he actually tries to well, he goes and finds his house, which is like all beat down because it's 5 years and half the population is gone. He sees his daughter a uh, who's a teenager, and he's like, "Wow, so it's been like 5 years." So he tells the Avengers without Tony because Tony's not there, but he tells them that like it might if it was 5 years, but in the quantum realm it only felt like 5 hours. So he's like, maybe the quantum realm can do something with time travel. It's like maybe we could figure something out to try to bring everybody back. And so they assemble a team. They go and then they go and talk to Tony. And Tony's in a cabin with Pepper Potts. They are married now. Well, I I don't know if they're married or if they're just living together. And he has a 4-year-old daughter. And Captain America looks at him, and then he basically's like, "What's up?" And Tony starts like, "Come on inside." So uh, Ant-Man tries talking to Iron Man like, "Hey, maybe we can do like a time heist and get the Infinity Stones so that way we can fix everything." And he's like, "Oh, that's impossible. You can't make a time machine because it's physically impossible." And so he sends the Avengers away, and it's pondering on his mind because this is like Spider-Man took a big toll on him. Like with Spider-Man being gone, he's like, I failed him because he disappeared and everything. I failed the world because half of humanity you know disintegrated because of me. But he's not the only person that felt like that in this movie. Oh yes, I when they were getting the team together to try to. Okay, so wait. Okay, Tony somehow figures out within minutes of like how to do time travel. So, I mean, he already sent the Avengers away when he, you know, did that. Ooh, 100% 3 point, dang. But Um, so since the Avengers don't have Tony Stark, and they're like, oh, we're gonna try to figure out this time travel. They go and find the Hulk, and they also, oh well, they find Bruce Banner, who has now become one with the Hulk, so it's Professor Hulk, and he he's like, yeah, I've always thought of him as a disease, but then I was like, what if he's the cure? And so somehow they don't really explain how, but he's now Professor Hulk, where he's the size of the Hulk, but he's at the brain of Bruce Banner. And then, yeah, so we need your help. And he's like, well, time travel's not my expertise at all, but I'll help. I'll come and help you guys. And then so they like, well, we need to go find Thor to to help get the team assembled. So they go and find the hall. They go and find Thor. Find out that he's just been a lazy bum because he feels like he failed the world because he didn't aim for the head. So if it wasn't for that, everybody would have been alive, and Thanos would have been dead in the first movie. But so he's fat. He's got this really long beard and hair, like a homeless man. Um, but yeah, that happens. They end up talking him. They Rocket Raccoon actually talks him into going with them. He bribes him with beer. Yeah, they bribe him with beer, so he joins them, and then yes, so they tried messing with the quantum realm, and and you know Ant-Man goes through. He's like, oh man, something's wrong because he keeps changing in age because apparently they don't know what they're doing. The Hulk doesn't know what he's doing, so why did I miss that? But yes, why am I just talking about the movie? Okay, so I don't know why I'm talking about the movie. Probably because I'm trying to, make it so it's spaced out in time. I was wide open. Too deep, though. Too deep. But, okay, so I just ended up with the main stuff. Okay, so when they had the big battle with Thanos, well, okay, past Thanos, because he, apparently Nebula, the past Nebula and the current Nebula, they shared the same like the same network or something with the robotic part of them, and so they're like, oh well, let's see, let's see what they're doing. Oh look, this Nebula has the Pym particles, and so they're like, oh well, we're gonna reverse engineer this so that way we know how to make it, and then they make the whole army and stuff go to Earth, and then they blow up the Avengers facility to get the Infinity Stones, and so Thanos is all like, like, I thought me doing this would help the whole world, but you guys aren't grateful for what I did for you guys. I'm just gonna start from scratch, get rid of everything. And so he tries getting the stones from. I think the. Yeah, he starts fighting everyone to try to get the stone, and basically, they're trying to they're playing keep away with the gauntlet that Tony Stark made. So it's basically the Iron Man hand, but it can hold the Infinity Stones in it. And the Hulk was the one. Professor Hulk, I'm gonna say. Professor Hulk was the one to snap because it's gamma rays, and he was like, "Well, I was made to do this," and like, he almost killed Thanos when he did it. So it's like I was made for this, and his arm completely just burned up. There we go. All right. Yeah. So they start fighting Thanos and his army, and Thanos has this really cool blade sword, and it's just really, really cool. Um, this is a younger Thanos, 2014 Thanos. So he doesn't know the Avenger. Well, he doesn't know some of the Avengers, so he's like, I don't even know you guys when he's fighting them. But halftime, okay. But he basically, you know, he's like super strong compared to the other Thanos because he's like 4 years younger than the one in Infinity War, so he has more brute strength to him. Yeah, and so he's fighting the Avengers, and um, Spider-Man actually activates instant kill in the battle, which is actually really cool. It's a callback to Homecoming when he has his Spider-Man suit where they're like, "Do you want to activate instant kill?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to kill anybody." It's alien, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill them." And really, Spider-Man was just hilarious in this movie because um, he his suit was stabbing all the aliens, but they're all like piling up on him. So he's like, "I can handle this," and he's still holding on to the gauntlet somehow. And then Captain Marvel just pops up right next to him. And she's like, "Do you want me to take it from you?" "Yes, please," because he's completely surrounded by aliens, and yet he's still killing them somehow, but he can't move anywhere. Um, okay, so uh, Captain Marvel takes it and ends up giving it to Black Panther, I do believe. And then Black Panther has it for a while. Then I think it goes back to Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is not in this movie very much. She's in the very beginning when they go and fight Thanos for the first time and kill him. And then she shows up for the last battle because apparently she's out doing space stuff. But I kind of wish she was in the movie more. But for she can actually get messed up by the 2014 Thanos. Um, she was getting beat up a little bit, and then uh, she goes like full Captain Marvel, glowing and everything. And well, he couldn't even lay a hit on her. So, but Scarlet Witch was all. Why'd I do that? But um, Scarlet Witch started, just going all out on Thanos, like beating the crap out of him, honestly. She could easily take down Thanos by herself, just like Captain Marvel. And she was like, "You took everything from me." And he's like, "I don't even know who you are," because he doesn't know who she is. Because it's 2014 Thanos. So, he wasn't there when, Vision uh when he ripped out the Mind Stone from Vision's head. What's up, person? I'm kind of talking about the movie, just kind of glazing over everything. Um, and then I'm gonna talk about things that I liked about the movie, and then, hey, it's Will. So I kind of started the stream by just straight up going detail by detail what was going on. I'm like, wait, why am I just straight up talking about the movie? I just started talking about certain parts that I liked. And so I'm at the part where Scarlet Witch is like, "Oh, you took everything from me," and then he's like, "I don't even know you," and she was like, "You're about to find out," and she like completely beats the crap out of him to the point where he has to call his ship to blow up, to start shooting missiles to knock her off of him. So really, Scarlet Witch could have just straight up beat Thanos by herself if he didn't call for the missiles to, strike in the area that they were at. But, oh, he disappeared. But, okay, so Thanos does end up getting the gauntlet, and I was like, oh crap. And then Iron Man's all like, Iron Man looks over at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, this is the, he waves his finger one, which is like, this is your one chance. So somehow, I don't know how still. Yeah, I still don't know how, but um, Iron Man ends up getting the Infinity Stones off the gauntlet onto his own suit, and and throughout the movie, the beginning and the end of the movie, Thanos is like, "I am inevitable." I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time saying that, but he's like, "Oh, I'm inevitable." Like like what I've done, you can't change, and so he's like, I am inevitable when he has the gauntlet, and so you know Iron Man goes up to his gauntlet, and he somehow gets the stones off of there. Thanos snaps, and he's like, nothing happened, and he looks at the gauntlet, and it's all done. Like, what the? That was just hilarious. And then Iron Man, of course, just goes like, I'm Iron Man, and snaps his finger. And what's up, my guy? I just talked about the movie. I'm just trying to going over the details about the movie. Like, I don't know why. Probably just as a filler. But until I had somebody to talk to, which you're here now, so. Okay, so the huge plot hole that I was talking to you about, that I was like, wait for the stream. Okay, so you know how tell me about the plot hole. Okay. Okay, so uh you know how Spider-Man, comes back, he's like, "Oh man, like I woke up. I thought you know how I was like dusted away and everything, and I must have been napping because I woke up and everybody was gone when he was talking to Tony." And so he's like the same age, and in Homecoming, he's all of his class. It shows all of his classmates and friends and all that, and they're all the same age. But yet it's 5 years into the future, so it's 2023. He should be in college, but yet it still takes place in high school. And they had an interview where they were like, "Okay, so the main question is, aren't you guys supposed to be in college, or why are you guys still the same age?" And they're like, "Well, that's like the biggest plot hole in the movie." So the big plot hole is like, why are they the same age and still in high school, even though it's 5 years in the future, 2023? They should all be in college, but I don't know. Apparently they're still second year, like second, third year. So Homecoming is supposed to be after Endgame in the timeline. Yes, it literally takes place right after the movie. But yes, that is it takes place right after. That's why that's why with the trailer they're like, this trailer has spoilers. Make sure you watch Endgame before watching the trailer. And that's why they show Iron Man in the trailer, like their contribution to Iron Man and all that. That's pretty whack. I was questioning it a lot. Yeah. A couple other things that like that caught me off guard is like, okay, so Captain America goes back in time to return the stones, but decides to stay to marry Peggy. To marry Peggy, and so they show him dancing with Peggy at the end of the movie. But in Captain America: Civil War, he's dating her niece. So, he kisses her. So he's kissing his own niece in Civil War, if you think about it. Isn't that a little strange? Like, I don't know, did he ever bring that up to Peggy, or Oh no, I know, right? It's so messed up. Like, really? Oh God, Sweet Home Alabama. I mean, He's kissing her relatives. It's not like he was kissing his own cousin or anything like that. But yeah, it's a little messed up though. And another thing that was kind of baffling about the movie is like why was or like why didn't they actually explain what happened with the Hulk and Bruce Banner? Because they tried building on it so much in Infinity War, and then just out of nowhere he's Professor Hulk, and like what the heck? How didn't he? Why did he mess up the timeline? So apparently, um, they explained it in the. They explained it. Apparently, when you mess with the past, you just create an alternate timeline. You don't actually change the future. You just create a alternate timeline of what you've done. Like so, it creates a basically a whole nother universe of its own, timeline of its own. So yeah, they didn't split. Yeah, they didn't explain Professor Hulk at all. But yeah, so since there's alternate timelines, like with Loki disappearing with the Tesseract, uh, uh, Loki disappearing with the Tesseract, and um, and Captain America saying "Hell Hydra," like that just creates alternate timelines, I guess, and not actually mess with the future. Yeah, because when when Professor Hulk was trying to get the Time Stone from um, what's her name from Doctor Strange? Uh, she explains about the whole alternate timelines and all that. She's like, that's why they had to return the stones because they would make alternate timelines that would like mess up all the universes if they don't return it. But yeah, the ancient one, yes, the ancient one, yes. She explains to Professor Hulk of like why the stones need to stay, but then he explains that Doctor Strange actually gave up the time stone. And she's like, oh well, he's supposed to be the superior wizard, so you know if he gave up the stone, there must be a reason. So here, take it. We'll loan it out. Just bring it back. Yeah. So, oh wait, they killed Thanos in that timeline. Yeah. Well, they killed two different Thanoses, really. The most awkward thing is Captain America having to bring back the Soul Stone to Volmir. Like, first of all, how does he get there? Second of all, well, I mean, I guess they have like where they set the coordinates or whatever. But yeah, so like it's just really awkward that he has to return the Soul Stone, and Red Skull's there, and the whole first Captain America movie is about Red Skull, and he's like, Captain Rogers, son of oh, are you seriously still alive? He had to meet Red Skull again. Yep, they probably had to be together, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. He's like, so what's it like in Volmir? Okay, the funny part is, okay, so Thor's got a beer belly because he's all depressed. But I thought that the world that Earth's like alcohol wasn't strong enough for him, so he can never get drunk off of it. Just like how Captain America can't get drunk because of the super soldier serum prevents it from him getting drunk or something. Or was that Wolverine? But either way, like how, like why was he acting all weird when he wasn't drunk? I mean, he was just super depressed. That was it. But crap. But yeah, any questions you have for me, Will? And yes, this is my favorite Marvel movie. Just saying. My guess is that with all of this, with all of his Asgardians and new Asgardian, make Asgardian alcohol. Maybe. Boom. Or something close to it. Yeah, probably. Probably something close to that. But yes. Yeah, but do you have any questions for me, Will? Like anything you want me to talk about the movie? I mean, they were all making beer instead of for him. Oh yeah, that's true. They said that he only comes out to get his supplies, and it was all beer. It's probably Asgardian beer then. But then again, Asgard was all destroyed, so they had to use ingredients from Earth. So maybe they knew something about their stuff that actually. Oh, triple double. Okay, here's my question. Okay, let's see your question. Well, let's see your question. What do you think about the morals of Thanos and his plan? Okay, so I shared a post on Facebook, and it says, it says, I'm not saying that it's right, but I understand why Thanos did what he did. And it's just a whole bunch of traffic just stopped on the highway. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But I mean, he had the right idea. I mean, he could have gone differently with it. Like, yeah, that was my post. I think you shared. Yeah, probably. There we go. But okay, so he has the right idea, but he goes about it the wrong way. Like he could have just, made it's all about the supplies not being as like there's too many people and not enough um too many people and not enough resor resources. So, I mean, he gets rid of half the people. Why doesn't he just increase the resources? Nope. But yeah, like he could have just increased the to balance it out. He could have just brought in more resources, made the resources plentiful. But I mean, it was all about getting rid of half of the universe. So in his eyes, he was right, but really, his way is just all messed up. But then again, it's probably his way of trying to. It's like their way of introducing death, like the character from Marvel, but not actually doing it. And that was a blowout. That's how you do a blowout in this game. Goodbye, LeBron. But you could have used the stone to make double or unlimited supplies. Yes, I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I sent you a video. Okay. What video did you send me? I didn't get no video. On Messenger? I sent you a video, but you didn't send me one. Uh. Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Peter Parker.
Hey, Peter Parker. You got something for me?
Oh God! Oh God! No, no, we ain't doing that now. He's underage. He's underage. No, that ain't cool. That ain't cool, Will. That's messed up. That's messed up. I mean, it's just hilarious. I do like your hairstyle on this, though. Makes it look like the comments. I did hear that on the stream, yes. Yeah. I mean, if you just heard that and, hey, blame Bree. Yeah, I mean, I guess. But, I mean, they were reading the script, so. So, I don't know if you watched my video that I posted on Facebook, I think yesterday. But they did an interview with, they did an interview with with Tom Holland and the other cast from Far From Home, and they're like, okay, so they give you guys fake scripts so you guys don't spoil anything. Like, how do you guys actually do the scene without knowing the spoilers? And they're like, oh well, like they give us our line, they give us the script, but they they blacked out all the spoilers, so like 90% of the pages are like all blacked out. And they're like, so when we have to say our line, let's see. But they're like, so we just read the script, but we don't really know what we're talking about because they blacked it out. So they're like, hey Peter, we gotta go save the blacked out line. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, actually. Yeah. They always give Tom Holland and Mark, what's his name? Mark, whoever plays Hulk. I'm trying to remember his name. Mark Ruffalo. Yes, Mark Ruffalo. But they give him and they give him and Mark Ruffalo fate scripts so that way they can't spoil anything. And so he was like, when they were recording Tony Stark's death, like he thought it was a wedding, so he was all excited, and he's like, wait, where's Robert? Where's Robert Downey Jr. at? Like, oh God, he doesn't know. But that was completely hilarious. Let's see, maybe I just that's cool, I guess. But yes. But okay, so rip that poor child. I know, right? I mean, he spoiled. He spoiled so much, though. What do you think of Captain Marvel in general? People give her a bad rep. I mean, her character's like super. I don't know what you'd say, but like for some reason she's like emotionless in Captain Marvel movie, and I didn't like that because she showed no emotion, so she just came out to look like a jerk. And but I know that wasn't their intention on that, but I mean that's just how it looked, though. I know a lot of people don't like her. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good movie. I mean, Brie Larson, I guess, was just trying to get into character, but I mean, I don't know. That like, oh well, she's white, and she doesn't know what she's talking about or something. I don't know. Like apparently they want a mixed or a African American Captain Marvel, and they got Brie Larson. Like I don't know why people are throwing a big fit about it. I mean, just don't watch the movie. Don't want to watch it. I mean, it got $1 billion when it was in theaters. So I mean, they got their money though. I didn't see Captain Marvel to be honest. Did you go see it? Oh, see it. It's actually pretty good. I mean, she. Okay, you've watched Endgame. You see how a little bit like how she really doesn't show emotion. That's kind of like how she is in the movie. But I mean, there's times where it seems like they're trying to make her funny, but she kind of just seems to be a jerk because of her facial expressions. But I don't know. I guess it's just you know criticized to improve. I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably see it with my girlfriend. She likes her character in the movie. Okay, yeah. I actually do like Captain Marvel. I do hope that Brie Larson, does some good with the characters. So she signed for 7 more movies. So I hope she does good then. I don't know why I started another game. I mean, I got 11 more minutes, I guess, of talking. But um, okay. Question for you, Will. Do you like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, or the Tom Holland Spider-Man? Me personally, I think that since Marvel's kind of overlooking Sony, um, that Tom Holland's trying to let the best Spider-Man. So that's my opinion. I grew up watching the Tobey Maguire one, and I've watched the Andrew Garfield one. But so for some reason, I love um, how Tom Holland is. He's not the best one for some reason, in my opinion at least. But least favorite scene in the whole movie. Least favorite scene in the whole movie. I don't know. There's a lot of good scenes, but one thing that baffles me is that Tony Stark gets a funeral, but yet Black Widow doesn't. I don't know. Tom Holland for story and character, but person in general. But I like Toby too, and person in general. But I do. I like Toby too, but the way that they did the whole story, like they showed so little of high school, and then he's suddenly in college and not in high school anymore. And most of Spider-Man's stories from the comic books take place when he's in high school. So I don't know. I do like how the whole, at least first movie of the Amazing Spider-Man took place in high school, and they didn't rush him out of, they didn't rush him out of high school. They waited until the second movie, but I do like how Tom Holland's is still in high school. And I think they said that he's just going to stay in high school while he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, I mean, they can definitely just keep going with him if they want to. I don't think it has to be a trilogy. They said they're doing a trilogy, but that's probably at least his high school years. So he's probably a sophomore in the first like Homecoming movie. But ooh. Yeah, it's just childhood nostalgia for me, to be honest. To like Toby. Yeah, I completely hate Spider-Man 3, but then I watched the video about it, of like like what happened to Spider-Man 4, and I understand like why they stopped making it and why Spider-Man 3 just went completely bad. So apparently the plan was just to have Sandman as the bad guy and finish up the Harry storyline. But then Sony's trying to get the director to throw in Venom just because Venom's popular. And the director didn't know anything about Venom, and he's like, I'm not gonna put a villain in there that I don't really know anything about. And so the reason why Venom's like all messed up in the movie is because he knows nothing about him. So it made sense that he's like, I don't want to do that. But apparently in the fourth movie that they were preparing, apparently Vulture was supposed to be um the Vulture was supposed to be the villain. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, they should have just stuck with Sandman and I don't know. I guess Sony just really messes up their Spider-Man movies, kind of like they did with the Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know, that movie was terrible, and I do hope the guy that plays Jim in The Office, everybody's like, oh, he should play Mr. Fantastic, and I completely agree with that. He would be an amazing Mr. Fantastic in Fantastic Four. So I'm really hoping that that happens. I'm really hoping that he looks at social media and he's like, "Oh, dude, that would be cool," and then talks to Marvel and they make it happen. I want to see that happen, and that would be completely awesome. I don't know. I would probably say he's my favorite character. If that happens. I 100% agree. Yes. I don't know. There's this. When it comes to superhero movies, I can talk about it for a while. I did watch Aquaman for the first time yesterday. It was all right, but Shazam's still the best DC movie. I don't really like that many DC movies. I watched Batman versus Superman. I've watched Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad had potential, but they kind of messed it up with editing and some of the story and the villain in general. The villain's like, oh, I'm just trying to make the world, make the world follow me, and there's like no reason why I'm doing this, just because people have technology and technology's bad, so I'm just gonna make everybody lose technology. Oh my god. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen most of the newer DC movies, but I love the animated movies from DC. Yeah, the Killer Joker is actually really good. I watched that for the first time about a week ago. I was like, man, that's pretty good. It was just completely messed up though, because Joker's supposed to be messed up in that movie, which made sense of like why the stuff happened in that movie, because it's the Joker. But yeah, it's great. Yeah, I mean, I love the original Batman trilogy. So, like Batman Begins, Batman Dark Knight, Batman Dark Knight Rises. That was an amazing trilogy. I loved it. That was probably like the last. Okay, other than Shazam, before that, my favorites were the Batman series. Even though I'm kind of not too much of a Batman fan, just because of like what they done with him with Okay, least favorite character in Endgame. Okay, yeah, let's go back to Marvel. Let's go back to Marvel because that's what I'm trying to talk about today. So, um, least favorite character. So development wise, they didn't really do much with uh, they didn't really do much with Captain Marvel, other than have her show up in the beginning and then show up at the big battle. So I kind of wish they did more with her. So I guess she would be my least favorite character, other than um, Nick Fury, where he just shows up at the super very end. But I mean, he's supposed to be like this big part of Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. So, I mean, I can see why they didn't really do much with him. What was he gonna do? Shoot guns at the aliens? But yeah, I can agree with that. I just kind of wish they did more with her. And I mean, 7 more movies where she's in it will, definitely give more depth to her character. So hopefully they do right by it. Least favorite Marvel character in the cinematic movies. Well, this was the second film. Was it the second one or was it the first? The Incredible Hulk movie. That movie was just complete garbage. Like, why did he have to use a heart rate monitor to to prevent himself from being the Hulk? I thought the Hulk came from anger, not from a heartbeat. I don't know. It was just bad. But yeah, that's probably my. So probably the Incredible Hulk from the Incredible. Probably Hulk from the Incredible Hulk movie. I mean, character overall from all of them. Yeah, so Hulk from the Incredible Hulk, which is technically part of the MCU because Tony Stark shows up at the end and talks to him about the Avengers. Even though he acts all clueless about it in the actual Avengers movie. Because it's Mark Ruffalo. But other than that, I guess another least favorite character is probably Ultron, just because like how little they did with Ultron. He's basically Pinocchio. I got no strings on me, but I do love the character. I do love the actor that played him though. He's a good. His voice was perfect for Ultron, but they just could have done more with Ultron and they didn't. No, I mean like the entire series together. For example, if you put Hulk, that includes him in the new movies. Oh well, I loved Hulk in Thor Ragnarok, so I can't. I guess I can't say him. I'm gonna say Vision just because it did so little with him, and they're not bringing him back either. So probably does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. So probably Vision. They had so much potential with Vision. They could have done a lot with Vision, but yet they failed to do much with him, and they're not bringing him back. So he lasted like 3 movies. Civil, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and Infinity War. Yeah, 3 movies, and they didn't really do much. Then again, I could definitely say, um, what's his name? Scarlet Witch's brother. Um, Quicksilver. Yeah, Quicksilver. They didn't do anything with his character, anything at all. I mean, the X-Men universe, like Quicksilver from there, he does so much. Like he's been a big part in the movies, at least lately, the last couple movies, and it looks like he's gonna have, a little bit more to do in Dark Phoenix. So, oh shoot, yeah, hey, because he died in the same. Yeah, they didn't do any character development, but yet they did character development for Scarlet Witch. So they're like, hey, you're gonna be in the movie, but your sister's gonna survive and you're not, and there's not gonna be much character depth to you. Sorry, you're gonna be an Avenger for like 10 minutes and then die. It's like really. I guess you could say Age of Ultron wasn't really one of my favorites, just because of like all the missed opportunities it had. Like the missed opportunity with Ultron, the missed opportunity with Quicksilver, the missed opportunity and just I don't know. I mean, Age of Ultron was important because the vision that he had, that Tony Stark had, straight up happened in Endgame. Captain America's shield gets broken. Oh, guess what? That was in his vision. Oh, the Chitauri's back. Oh, that was in his vision. Um, when Captain America says, "You couldn't be the person that helped save us," and then he actually fulfills. He actually fulfills that by sacrificing himself to save everyone and get rid of Thanos and his army. So, I mean, everything from Age of Ultron came through. So that was pretty cool. I didn't like Age of Ultron. Probably one of my least favorite movies. Yeah, I say the first Thor movie. I mean, it was. I mean, it was when Marvel was first starting to do the MCU. It's just that his character is so arrogant. And then Thor: Dark World, he was that same as that character where he was arrogant, but Thor Ragnarok just brought out the best in him. So that saved the whole Thor area. So there was at least some saving light from that. But Age of Ultron, yeah, they just had so many missed opportunities, though. I'm probably gonna play into halftime and then stop the stream. Great. I love the Iron Man movies. Iron Man 2. I had to say that Iron Man 2 was probably one of my least favorites too, just because of what they did with Whiplash. Like, they didn't do much for his character either. But then again, Iron Man 3 was a letdown too, just because the Mandarin wasn't the Mandarin. He was an actor. So I like the first Iron Man. I mean, who doesn't like the first Iron Man movie? But Iron Man 2 and 3, they were a little bit lackluster to me. First Captain America movie I actually did like. The first Avenger. Winter Soldiers is probably one of the best Marvel movies behind Infinity War. Endgame, then Infinity War. Then it's probably Winter Soldier. Civil War was good, so I say that I like that part, to be honest. Which part? But that's fair. You liked what part though? I have trying to settle a bit. I guess they've really done Captain America right. I don't know. His trilogy's more solid to me than Iron Man. Then again, I'm more of a Captain America fan than Iron Man. The Mandarin. Oh, you like that part that he wasn't actually the Mandarin, but he was an actor? I don't know. I kind of wanted to see the Mandarin just because he's one of the biggest villains to Iron Man, so. Captain America had the most consistently good storyline. Yes. Even though there was a 75-year jump, though it was just completely consistent. I love Bucky. I love Captain America. Falcon, it's also great. I love that Falcon got the shield at the end of the movie too. Because actually in the comics, Bucky doesn't get it handed down. He actually just takes the mantle of Captain America after Captain America dies. And Falcon actually gets it handed down to him. What the But yes, they've done Captain America so good. And Chris Evans is one of my favorite actors behind Ryan Reynolds. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, Detective Pikachu is so good. And I called part of that movie. But that's for another day. Um, let's see. But I'm not saving this, James. I'm just gonna mess around now. So I had to head to bed. There we go, blotch. We were talking about that movie for next week. Yes. We had to give it at least a week before we talk spoilers. I would do a spoiler-free review, but I'm not going to do a spoiler. My favorite Marvel storyline is Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, another plot hole. Since 2014, Gamora is is in the present day, 2023. What are they gonna do with the Guardians of the Galaxy then? She's supposed to be in the third movie, but what are they gonna do with her character? That's the main question. Like, what happened to the love story between her and Star-Lord? Like, they were hyping that up, and then she dies, of course, in Infinity War. And then she doesn't know any of them because she didn't experience Guardians of the Galaxy yet, because 2014 Gamora hasn't gone to jail or anything yet. So that's my main question too. That makes me so sad. Yeah, they had so much character development with Gamora, and then they bring in the past one, and like, okay, what's the story going to be like now? I know the third one's supposed to be about Adam Warlock, but I guess we'll find out. But anyways, I'm probably going to end it right here. We were talking about Detective Pikachu probably on Friday. If you're able to join me, that'd be cool. I would love to have a guest, so that's actually talking and not texting. I don't know. I would love to have somebody to talk on the phone or something with. So, anyways, if you're watching this, make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell so that way you won't miss another podcast. Anyways, I am Elite Trainer CJ. You guys have a good night. And yeah, that sounds good, Will. You have a good night as well. I will talk to you guys later. Oh, real quick. I know it's paused, but it's just my audio, but next video is going to be a spoiler-free review of Detective Pikachu. I'll see you guys next time.